What's up, everybody? It's your girl Tuti from the D. Welcome to Happening Tuesday. Tonight, let me tell you, I've been excited to talk to you guys about this hot topic. And it's one that we've been using a lot lately, especially, I can say, over the past 2 years. We really have started honing into self-care. However, we talk about it. You know, we use it like we use the cliches such as don't talk about it, be about it, right? How important is self-care to you? I'm going to dive right into this thing tonight. I'm not going to hold y'all up. Firstly, I hope you enjoyed your day off yesterday, Memorial Day. If you have a loved one that or a friend that served and they lost their life in the military, many blessings to you and yours. It was a day of rest, a day to acknowledge those who actually served for their country and are no longer here. So a lot of people were out at the cemeteries, you know, visiting their loved ones, remembering people who served. And so to those of you that have gone through that, many blessings to you. When I talk about self-care, I've been thinking about it, and there's so many levels to it. And so I'm like, is it important to you? We talk about it, and we have all these ideas. And you may can agree and say you've given advice to people you know and love about how to take care of themselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? Physically. Self-care is one of the easiest things to add to our daily routine, yet it's the hardest thing to put on the agenda for ourselves, right? Some people think that self-care has to be, oh, I'm going to the spa, I'm going to, and then they'll say, well, that involves money and etc. It depends what makes you happy. You get 24 hours in a day. That's not nothing new. We all know that, right? Out of those 24 hours, how many hours of that time frame do you sleep, right? You could say, oh, I'm a night owl. I don't really sleep well. I'm a creative. I'm always working. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm whatever. Depending on what industry you're in or what you do for a living, it can kind of tell you what your sleeping pattern can be or has been, should be, or could be, right? We spend time helping other people. Some of the time, think about this. I want you to just take a pause and I want you to think about this. How many hours out the day outside of going to work, if you work, or outside of going to school, if you go to school, do you give outside of if you are a parent, whether you are a mother or a father? Because I'm not just talking to the ladies. Fellas, it's important for y'all to recognize and understand self-care is just as equally important for y'all. We need our husbands, our fiancés, our boyfriends, the father to a child or children that we carry, ladies, to be well balanced out just as well as we need ourselves to be balanced out, right? But how many hours, how much time do you give to other people outside of your norm? Like, okay, if you have a family, then we know you got to give some time to them. But even breaking that down, How much time do you give to friends, to family members that is not your child or your significant other or your parent if you're caring for them of that nature? Wasted time or time that you could be given to yourself, right? And so when we talk about self-care, when I think of self-care, for me, it's waking up, having a moment of gratitude, firstly, for waking up, knowing that I'm alive. Before I get out of bed every morning, I wake up, whether it's on my own without my alarm clock, and or if it is with my alarm clock, the first thing I do, I don't reach over and scroll and grab my phone. I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore. And it's been some time since I've stopped doing that. I pray. Now, some of y'all might say, well, I don't pray. Or, yeah, I pray, but it ain't the first thing I do in the morning. Okay, hey, to each his own. I said what I do for self-care, right? I pray because I'm grateful. I'm thankful that he saw fit to wake me up another day. To either finish what I didn't finish yesterday, because I decided I'm going to cut it down, shut it down, and do whatever it is I'm going to do for me, for mine, right? Being an entrepreneur is one of the most strenuous things we can be. But guess what? You got to put in the work to see the benefits of your labor and your time. Just like you go to work, whether it's part-time or full-time, you give that employer X amount of time to earn the paycheck, to take care of yourself, to take care of your family, to take care of whatever responsibilities you may have, to enjoy life, right? But you give it to them. And then you leave out, what do you have left over? Where do you give that time to? What's important to you? I would like to see us as human beings, women, men, whether you're a parent or you're not a parent, I would like to see us be able to say, you know what, when I get up in the morning, I give reverence and I honor God and thank him for this day. Thank you for another opportunity to get it right and all those things that come with that. And do your day. When you're off work, before you get home, maybe that's the best time to get some self-care. Maybe that's stopping off and saying, you know what, I'm going to enjoy. Now, we can all buy a glass of wine or a bottle of wine at home and chill. You got people that have chillers. You have people that have wine chill areas, just like how we have coffee stations. They have wine. Yeah, please, you might say, no, yeah, it is, right? And I know plenty of people that have that. But what's wrong with saying, you know what, if I'm going to have a glass of wine today to unwind and just decompress before I go home, if that's what you want to do, or I'm going to have my favorite libation, my cocktail, you know, you might want to have a lemon drop, ladies. Fellas, you might want to have a cold beer. And you can say, you know what, chill. Or you might want to stop at your favorite coffee house if you're not a drinker and say, I'm going to have a good cup of coffee, a nice cup of tea, and I'm going to read a chapter of a book. Whatever that looks like. If you say, you know what, I'm going to walk after work. I'm going to go to my little place I like to walk, whether that's taking in scenery or if that's sitting down by the water. For me, if I decided I'm going to walk over to the Riverwalk, because I work in downtown Detroit, and enjoy the water, I'm going to give myself 15 minutes. There's a beautiful restaurant off the water that I like to go to from time to time. A little pricey, but I'm worth it to myself. I'm worth it when I go out with my family or good friends, right? So if I decided, you know what, I'm going to take myself to an early dinner. Let's just say the fellas is doing something. I can be like, you know what, I'm not in a hurry to get home. They're doing something. I could walk over to that restaurant, right? And get me a table. If it's beautiful weather, I would love to sit out on the patio and look at the water, embrace it, or sit inside and still, because every seat in there is beautiful, and just enjoy that scenery and get lost and have a mindfulness lunch, dinner, happy hour, whatever that looks like. And then go and say, you know what? I went to work. I had time. I gave myself self-care. Now I'm going to go home and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Or I'm going to go into my entrepreneurship, right? Because I'm an entrepreneur, right? And so whatever it is, that's me. But if I decide I'm going to go home and I'm going to change and I'm going to go to the gym, or on my way home, I'm not even going home first. I'm going to go straight to the gym, shower, put on my workout clothes. You might say, well, why would you work out? It depends what you want. You might want to rush off, because you may have a gritty job. You may have a job that has a lot going on. You're like, oh, I really need to freshen up, but I'm going to work out, sweat. And either you finish that workout and shower at the gym and go home, or you work out, go home and shower, jump into your comfortable clothes at home and start your evening or your afternoon, depending on your time of day, what works for you, what schedule you're on, right? These are little bitty things, just little ideas that can help you put in the time for you. You have to say, what people say, well, I don't have time. Why? You don't have an hour, 30 minutes to get to you. You might say, no, I don't, because after I got to get the kids from school, I got to, okay, I respect that. A lot of us are working mothers, working fathers. What about your lunch hour? Whether you get a 30-minute lunch hour or you get your standard hour lunch hour, can you do something for yourself? Can you say, my lunch hour is my self-care time? For me, I could say on my lunch hour, I'm going to walk over and sit down by the water and enjoy that and just decompress. I might journal. I might listen to some music and enjoy the view and go on back to work and be like, I gave myself that. Your lunch hour is your lunch hour to do, or your half hour to do with it what you might want to. You might say, you know what, I'm going to take my lunch hour and I'm going to walk, if you're in walking distance. If you're in driving distance of a outdoor mall or little shopping plaza or the mall, and say, you know, I'm going to do a little window shopping, right? You might say, hey, I'm going to run to the nail salon. I'm going to get me a pedicure if you're close to it, right? A manicure, whatever it is. I might go to a place and say, hey, I'm going to get me a back massage. I'm going to get me a chair massage, right? I'm going to go get reflexology. Do you understand? You don't have time because you don't make time for self-care. But if you don't make the time, I really don't want to hear you complaining. Because I just gave you a few little places where you can put it in there. After work, you might have to go get the kids. Okay. But let me tell you this. I know plenty of mothers who have access to childcare, and their kids are in childcare. It's you, mom, that's rushing to get them, but you have access to childcare. You probably can afford it. It may be built into the system. You may get off well before your kids get out of school. You may go in a little later than you do after you drop your kids in. So you understand, you have the time, you got to look for it. And if it ain't Monday through Friday, you like the weekends. How does that look for you? Can you tell your significant other, if you are a 2-parent household, I'm waking up, I'm going and I'm doing this in the morning, or I'm going to do this in the afternoon, coordinate the schedule. If you have supportive in-laws or parents or siblings or trusted relatives or trusted friends, hey, can I drop him or her or them off for about an hour? Can you give me an hour of your time where I can go and just get a little time for me? I want to go and get a massage and I'll come back and get them. Or can you give me 2 hours? Especially if you got a good child or good children, don't nobody mind keeping them, right? Or stopping by, invite them to, hey, do you mind coming to my house? Your child or children can stay in their habitat, right? You mind coming, sitting over? I'll buy you lunch, you know, or you can order DoorDash or whatever it is you do. I'll make you lunch, or, you know, can you come over and I give you this time? A lot of the times people are like, yeah, especially if you don't feed us, right? We love a good meal, okay? Or you might, I got a gift card for you. What's your favorite spot? You know, wherever it is. If I buy you lunch there, do you mind next Saturday or next Sunday or whatever day of the week, can you etch in and come through? And my response to you, and you might say, you ain't got to pay me or you ain't got to do that. And that's fine, because you don't always have to do that. But you're just letting them know, I appreciate you giving me this time to give myself self-care. But every day, you got a moment for self-care. You have to build it in there. You know how you build in going to work? taking a kid or kids to school, picking them up from school, their extracurricular activities. And if you have a significant other, ladies, we're guilty of this. We don't want to inconvenience them. They're the father of your child or your children. You're never inconveniencing them because you may look at them and get mad at them. Well, they go off and you do this and you do that. But if you tell them, it's called communication, hey, what is your weekend looking like? They may be like, well, I this and that. I was going to grab this. Okay. Next weekend, please don't make no plans. I need to have some self-care time. Or what is your evening looking like if they work the day shift like you do? Or if you guys work, whatever your shift is, the opposite. Ask them, hey, what is this looking like for you? I promise you, they will be more than happy to pick up that weight. But you, ladies, and I understand because I have many of friends and family members that are guilty of it. I don't want to put that on them, or I'm gonna. Well, then don't be mad at him when he's always off doing what he's doing because he's making self-care time. Now he may not label it that, right? He may not even call it that. I'm about to go to the game with the fellas. Me and the fellas gonna go out, shoot some pool, or we gonna go and shoot some hoop. We're gonna play, 4-on-4, whatever it is, 7-on-7, whatever it is, right? I'm going to work out. They do it. Swifty and I love my husband. I appreciate my husband. When I tell you he is so hands-on and very conscious of me making sure I'm good and I don't need nothing. Like, do you need a self-care day? You need a spa day? You want to go get your feet done, whatever, your hands done. You went out with the girls. Why don't you get the girl? When I tell you that man is so attentive to me making sure that I'm all right mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, I'm blessed. Many of y'all are too. Y'all just don't see it sometimes, or you don't take advantage of it. And not taking advantage in a negative way, taking advantage in a positive way. But on the flip side of that, ladies, if your husband is always on the go, working, grinding, hustling to make sure that you are good, that your child, if y'all have a child, or if y'all have children, your children are good, I need you. If you don't see them taking time to do something for them, I need you to create that space for them as well. Because just like we be on the go, we got to prioritize, and we don't take care of us. They be on the go and they prioritize and they don't take care of them. Self-care is so important, and it's not a gender precedented thing. It's not just, oh, well, ladies, it's all about us. We got to do our self-care. No, fellas need it too. And if you could get that self-care in together, like a couples massage or couple spa day, or making sure you put in date night. I'm always talking about how important it is to have date night. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to have date night at least once a week away from your home. At least once a week. And you might be like, anybody got no money like that to be like, hey, date night ain't always got to be expensive. If you have a patio or a backyard or a front porch, make y'all some little sandwiches or make y'all dinner and eat outside. Especially with the weather we're getting. Depending on where you live, you could have some great weather. Say, babe, let's eat dinner on the patio. The kids, feed them at the dining room table, all that, because y'all created the space for y'all. Get them in the bath earlier than normal. Tell them, hey, you guys can watch a movie. Me and dad are going to have date night. Y'all, unless it's an emergency, do not bother us. We're going to be right out here on the patio. We're going to be right on the front porch, right? If the weather doesn't allow it, if you have a den, if you have a basement, an office space, get you a blanket, light some candles, have an indoor picnic, movie night. Get his favorite libation, your favorite libation. Agree upon a movie or two. Let him pick a movie. You pick a movie. Flip to see whose movie going first. Game night. When I tell you there's so many ways to create date night, that's a whole podcast by itself. You have to want it. You can't want it and don't do nothing about it, though. I thought without being examined on how to execute it is just a thought. Plan of action, thinking it through. You can have a daycation. You can have a staycation. When I tell you it's so important that you not only breathe into yourselves, it's also equally important that you breathe into your relationship, whether you're married or you're in a long-term relationship, if you're in a committed relationship. It's so important to breathe into it, to throw into it, to pour into it. But it's more important, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because some of y'all young people need to give that too. I have a teenage son. No, I was going to say teenage boys, but I have a grown son now. And I have a teenager. I have a 15-year-old and I have a soon to be 23-year-old. When I tell you I'm always thinking of ways with my older son, I just had a conversation with him over the weekend. And I was telling him like about different spots. He lives in another state, right? And so I'm like, hey, because we go and visit him, I'm going to start doing it more often. Our schedule's all over the place. And he works like, crazy. But I'm like, I want to make that time. But when we go to his state, I like to say, I do my homework because, I'm a amateur foodie. So I like to go visit new restaurants and places, but teaching him about his state, places he can go. But I was giving him ideas about spas and self-care moments and how to meal prep and not be so stressed. And he's a bachelor, a young man doing well for himself. And I'm like showing him and telling him things. He's like, okay, Mom, yeah. And I'm loving that. But I have a teenager. And my teenager is like, he takes care of himself. And he's into health, and I'm just like and activities and social wellness, but also making sure he has enough time with his father time. Him and his dad have that father and son time, and then I'm like, me and him have our mother-son time, right? So just teaching that because it's a learned behavior. What did you know? Fair moment. What did you know about self-care when you were growing up? It wasn't even a word. It wasn't even a thought. I've never heard self-care growing up. What is that? I grew up in a house with a mother who was a single mom, yet in a relationship, and then a single mom not in a relationship. She always worked. She did. But she made time to go out and hang out with her girls when she was younger, and I was old enough to stay home with the children, my siblings. She'd go to the club, okay, but she cooked dinner. And she's like, okay, I'm going out. Y'all go to bed. Make sure they shower. She found her time. When we was in school, who knew what my mother was doing? But she could do whatever she wanted. She worked, but she worked and made her own schedule. She always was either a housekeeper or she was a caretaker of people. So she was able to have a schedule that was like, okay, whether she was working in commercial or private as a housekeeper, she did that. That's what she loved to do. And so it was just like, okay. She made time, but it wasn't no self-care. It wasn't no, Mom's taking her a candlelight bath. No. She took baths with Calgon and stuff like that, but so did we. She introduced that to us. Pour your little Calgon in there and take a bath. Soak. It's like, okay. I just thought it was dope because the water would turn blue and green, right? But as I got older, I appreciated those soaks, cleaning out the tub and coming in. And that's a self-care moment. Cleaning out the tub and coming in, lighting your candles. I'm going to tell you something that I said when I buy for myself. That's why I said, I need to get that. One of those little, I don't even know what you call it, tabletop things that you put in the tub and you can put your glass of wine, you can put candles on it, you can read a book, whatever it is. And just sitting there and enjoying, you can eat your fruit, whatever, right? I had thought about, wouldn't it be nice to put a little small TV in our bathroom? Then I thought, like, probably not. Then, but I just thought about, like, those are little self-care moments, right? They have, believe it or not, shower heads that have Bluetooth in them. You can pair it up, get in the shower, play your favorite music, enjoy your shower. They even have light bulbs just like that, Bluetooth light bulbs. When I tell you they are thinking of ways and creating ways to help us find that moment of peace, creating that space for ourselves, but we're not even looking for it, or we do that, I don't have time. Well, if you don't make time for you, you should. Because I guarantee you make time for your family, outside of your household. You make time for your friends. You make time for your job. It pays your bills. Yeah, it makes you live the lifestyle you choose to live. But you make time. So I don't want to hear another person say, I don't got time for self-care. It's too expensive. What time of day? Happy hour. Let me tell you. Baby, when I tell you I got ideas for ideas, you can literally go to happy hour and have an early dinner. Happy hour normally starts at 3 o'clock and normally ends about 7, right? And then you have some places like Bahama Breeze that have a daytime happy hour, and then that evening, 9 to close. Now you could have eaten dinner and put the kids to bed or whatever, and if they're old enough to stay home, like, hey, I'll be back. I'm gonna go out. I'll be back in about an hour. Go and enjoy yourself a libation because you ate already, obviously. And or if you've made dinner for your house, you can say, hey, I'm going out. I'll be back. Go have a nice little happy hour. When I tell you, you can make it happen, friend. You can make it happen. Read a good book. Stimulate your brain, your mind. There's so many great reads out here. But if you don't make the time for it, you can't really be mad at anybody. If you live vicariously through your family, through your friends, that's fine. That's great. That's cool. But you got to make the time to enjoy life and to live it abundantly, ladies and gentlemen. Stop saying you don't have time. And then you burnt out. You stressed out. What? Self-care also can be you going and seeing a therapist, a counselor. If you've got a lot of things you need to unpack and you don't really know how to unpack it and put it in some proper places in your life as you continue to grow, then you are not doing yourself a good service. If you work, you got good insurance, look into that. You don't have to be going through something negative to say, you know what, I'm going to go to a counselor and talk, or a therapist, and just really I want to put this in perspective. If you don't know how to implement it, maybe talking it out to somebody that's not a family member or a friend or a relative or your spouse, if y'all just don't seem to be able to find it, there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all. We put these stigmas into our minds, what's healthy, what's not healthy, what's right, what's not right. And then we get mad. But who are you getting mad at, and why are you mad? If you know better, you do better. Investing in you is one of the best investments you'll ever have. Because if you start now, as you get older, you'll be like, you know what, I'm not as stressed as I could be or would be or should be. Do better because you know better. You don't have because you don't ask. There are some tips out here you can Google. Social media, there's people that's showing you Girl Life. I just did a segment that's getting ready to be aired this week while you're still working full time. I've heard that term, and I had to learn what it was from someone younger than me. What's a soft girl? And then I'm like, okay. So we can live the soft girl life whether you work it or you're not working, right? We can create that for ourselves. And I'm going to tell you some tips in that segment top of the morning show over on Spotify. You can listen and say, okay. Now you can check out the shows at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. This month, I've talked about nothing but to just really hone into who we are to make ourselves better. When we are better individually, inside as well as outside, we are better for others. We look better. We act better. Our mind has the opportunity to evolve. The capacity level increases. You put in what you get out. You get out what you put in. And it has to be a give and take. When you deposit and you withdraw, you can't withdraw more than you deposit or you're going to go negative. Metaphorically. I'm going to share a couple of videos tonight. Well, before I share some videos, I want to share. I've been working on a project called The Port. You could see installment 1 Part 1 on Tubi right now, live streaming on Tubi, as well as Apple. Shout out to Ness, who's the writer, producer, and director. But I'm going to share this first clip with you. Check this out.
Q, we go way back, right?
We do.
I mean, we go way back.
Way back.
And I made you a very rich man, right?
You have?
All right.
That's part 1 clip, right? I'm going to give you the part 2 clip. And I know you're like, oh, TT be busy. TT be doing something. Let me get the part 2 clip. Okay, here we go. Part 2.
Just because you're working with a little something, it does not mean that I'm going to let you fuck my money.
Woo! I know you like, and that brings me to this video. If you know, you know. But if you didn't know, I'm TT from the D because I'm from the D. So welcome to the D.
Welcome to Detroit.
This be us, we up and tore from a different cloth. A nigga that can do anything that he wants, still puff, even if I have to piss in a cup. My life is glistening, sipping while I'm pimping. Player haters keep their distance, cause I'm different. Can't play a G, what separate me from the fake, I remain the same. Every season, the game that they kick is lame, ridiculous, repetitious. You need somebody unpredictable that you can rely on. Surprise with a blindfold, fly the sky till we reach a different time zone. Invite your top models, you got them, and I'ma call up rock bottom to cop bottles. Detroit related, can't be duplicated. Holla, your favorite mobster staying high with a plate of lobster. Paying off coppers, and ain't no fake niggas hanging in my roster. Refrain from talking, remaining solid. Acknowledge the dollars, they don't want problems. The school of hard knocks is where I went to college. Fuck with a scholar that's brutally honest.
Welcome to the city where we're breaking all the rules. Nobody's fucking with us. Nobody. Hate on my city and you probably make the news. Nobody's fucking with us.
Welcome to the city where we don't play games. Stink pink gators and Cartier frames. Niggas flip cane, hit the strip club with a banger and quick to lick the Benjamins rain. Welcome to the city of the late 5-0. It would take 3 hours to make it to your home, letting criminals go. All they want is cargo, undercover cops with the spirit of Alonzo. I'm no hoe, my city ain't either. We make profit, y'all be breaking even. Oh, let's go, there's no bobbing and weaving. Chalk in the flow, it's all that we believe in. The home of G's and carjackers, $40,000 strapped to their abdomen. Pop you first, then walk away mobbing. Acknowledge the dollars, they don't want problems. The school of hard knocks is where I went to college. Fuck with a scholar that's brutally honest.
Welcome to the city where we're breaking all the rules. Nobody's fucking with us. Nobody. Hate on my city and you probably make the news. Nobody's fucking with us.
We ain't got nothing to hide, fuck pride. Welcome to the city where we'll shoot a nigga's ride just for looking in our eyes. Average street guys will beat up a Muslim and take his bean pies. Welcome to the city where we don't fake jack. Our daddies will max and listen to 8-tracks. Black Cadillacs, I ain't gonna lie. In the 80s where they looked up to YBI. The sky's the limit, we ain't no gimmicks. We the realest, we either rap about it or live it. The women get wicked, yeah they gonna shoot, that's within a millisecond. Turn us to a zoo if you sell the wolf ticket. Me and Big Poof used to listen to our records. Chillin' with the goons in the motorcycle jacket. 7 Mile, that's what I'm reppin'. Nigga, we would never disrespect it. Acknowledge the dollars, they don't want problems. The school of hard knocks is where I went to college. Fuck with a scholar that's brutally honest.
breaking all the rules. Nobody's fucking with us. Nobody. Hate on my city and you probably make the news. Nobody's fucking with us.
Welcome to Detroit. 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 Welcome to Detroit.
Shout out to my husband's 50 McVeigh. Shout out to the director of that video, Garrett Hoffman. And did you know that your girl TT from the D assisted with casting for the extras in the video? Yes, I did. And so, I also was in the video. I don't know if you noticed, I had an asymmetric curly quick weave. I was the girl with the red boots on, like Earl Fleming and all that. Yes, having fun. Listen, in honor of another thing, I'm going to share with you guys a little clip. I was blessed. Shout out to Melanie, who is TT from the D podcast official sponsor, to be a part of this amazing book. And it's called Minding My Own Healing. I am one of the contributing authors along with Tamika, Alasia. You can see us on the back, right? You can see us on the back. And we're part of this amazing book. It's a healing journey. We have all contributed a chapter in here, and it's a tool to add to your self-care healing toolbox, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. I'm going to share this little commercial, and I'll tell you a little bit more about my chapter.
We never perceive brokenness or a bad thing as good until later when we see the good things that can come from the bad thing. Sometimes the bad situations that happen in our lives can put us on the right path to the best thing that will happen to us and position us for healing. As I was minding my own healing, I learned that healing is a personal journey of becoming whole or healthy again that involves a process of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual experiences. Healing doesn't mean forgetting or ignoring the pain. It's when the pain no longer controls you. When you can detach from what has been inflicted and only take the lessons with you. Some say time heals all wounds. That's not true. Time alone does not heal you. You heal you. God has already given us his healing power and placed it on the inside of every believer. It's up to us to access it and activate it. My prayer is that the words, scriptures, information, and testimonies of the contributing authors poured into this book will inspire, encourage, motivate you to navigate through your healing journey. It's never too late to heal. It's never too late to start minding your own healing. The pain and hurt may not have been your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. My proverb is, hurt people hurt other people, but healed people heal others. My name is Melanie Smiles, and I'm the author of the book Minding My Own Healing, and you can get your copy and start minding your own healing at www.melaniesmiles.com. It's also available on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and other media platforms.
Salute to Melanie and all the contributing authors. This is the thing, y'all. When I tell you this was therapeutic to contribute a chapter. And I wrote my chapter from the space of being what they call a domestic violence survivor. And it's only a smidge. It's not. When I tell you, I could do a thick book on my life as a child growing up in a domestic violence home, because that's my truth. I come from that. What goes on behind these walls, stay behind these walls. You don't tell my business. And even if you hadn't knew about it or seen it, unfortunately, was happened to be around, they couldn't understand why my mom stayed. I couldn't understand why my mom stayed. A lot of times, that's the golden question. We don't know why we stay when we're in abusive relationships, right? We're talking about trauma healing, and in the honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, this is an amazing read to add to your library of healing tools. Melanie kicks off this book with a lot of jewels that she drops, and then her own chapter. Amazing healthcare tips and self-care tips, and we just elaborate, right? And so I'm looking forward to having all of us together on the TT from the D podcast, where we come together and really just hone in on this, right? It's been a long time in the making. This book is truly something that I can say can help with your self-care when you are healing from trauma, when you're healing emotionally. And if you would like, now you found all the ways that you can get your book from Melanie's website, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart. If you want an autographed personal copy from your girl TT from the D, then you can shoot me an email to Teresa, Teresa, at ttfromthed.com, and let me know that you would like to order your own personal autographed copy from me. And I can get that for you. We all, as contributing authors, have the opportunity. She set it up where we can sell our own books from our book. So any monies that we collect in those books goes directly to the co-author. If you go on and support it, getting still the book in itself, which is the ultimate goal, you can go to any of those websites that Melanie said, but if you want to autograph any one of the contributing authors directly reach out to them. They have access to getting those and they can autograph those for you. Now, I'm going to leave you with this self-care tip, this little bit of advice. One book that is an amazing book that you can always find a tip to help you care for yourself, love on yourself, the Bible. If you Google any way you're feeling and ask Google for a scripture on that, you will always find it. The living word is the living word. I got educated from ignorance on my own behalf. Growing up, I always heard people say, oh, if you're tired and you can't go to sleep, read the Bible. It'll put you to sleep. It's so boring. It'll put you to sleep. You get tired. You ever notice trying to read the scripture and you just get tired? You go to bed. And I tried that method plenty of times. So I thought, like, yeah, that's so right. They're right. We are, restless, can't sleep. You could take a shower. You could drink some coffee or tea or water or warm milk or whatever, right? And you be like, I'm still wide awake. But grab that trusty Bible, right? Let me do this for you. This is my podcast studio, but I keep one next to my bed. I keep one in my Bible, in my podcast room, my Bible in my podcast room. I have one on my desk at work. Baby, I used to have one in the back window of my car. Who are you talking to? So anyway, the living word, right? So one day, this was probably about, had to be about 3 years ago, maybe, if not 4. Definitely 3 years ago, if not 4. I was riding on my way to the mall, and it was a beautiful summer day. And I'm listening to 105.9, and somebody had a guest on. They were talking, and they were saying something on the lines of, that same terminology, but I would be paraphrasing because what they said directly, I can't really tell you because I can't remember exactly how they said it. But they were saying, yeah, just like when you heard that saying, if you get tired, just read the Bible. It's so boring, it'll put you to sleep. And I think this person that they were having on, that they were interviewing, might have been a pastor or a minister. And he said, no. He said, yeah, I've heard that. But you know what's so funny? You know why the word of God would put you to sleep? It's not because it's boring. It's because it's the word of God. It brings forth comfort. You have read his word and you feel like, so because you are comforted by his word, you're able to go to sleep. And when I tell you, I cried, y'all. Because I said, all these years, I thought like, oh, I'm bored. The word is boring, so that's why I went to sleep. I read it out loud. It's like, oh, I'm tired. I can't keep my eyes open. Because he was breathing life into those words. And I spoke them out. And it brought comfort to me. No matter what I was going through, if I was restless and tired, if I was restless and was tired, I could go to bed now, right? If I was uncomforted, if I was going through, I read that, it's kind of like, that was a awakening moment for me. Changed my life. It changed the way I looked at the word. So when people tell me, I can't rest, I'm tired, my anxiety, I'll tell them to read the word. Find a scripture that you don't know now. And my mother-in-law, God rest her soul, continuously rest her soul. Miss D is what I affectionately called her. She told me one day, she said, T, I don't know what subject we were talking about. We talked a lot. But she said, if you ever want to just read and learn a new scripture without looking and point to anything, highlight it, read it. It may be familiar, it may not be. Learn about it. And that's how you teach yourself and find comfort. And I'm like, dang, I've done that plenty of times. That was some sound advice, and it really does work. So I hope that you've enjoyed this self-care moment intake reviewing. Like, is it important to you? Because it is. It is. And I'm going to exit us out with something that's going to get you moving. And it's a video. And it is called Elevate. Until the next time we leave footprints across the sun on a Monday night, it's your girl TT from the D. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, catch me if you can. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to give up on the good and go for the great. That's how you elevate.
Elevate.
Y'all ready for this one?
Elevate.
Come on, y'all. Let's get this working.
Catch me if you can, ain't no capping, we in the air. Elevated up like an elevator, no steps. I don't run in place. I just run up, elevate.
Speeding at fast pace, like every day. I'm in DCA, getting bucks, Detroit to LA. I'm international, peace up, out to the A. Be what you want, don't wait around, it's a long day. Only going up, keep them hands up. Life been looking up, really feel the love. If you feel the same, you gon' get a lot of change. So get up, make it happen.
Catch me if you can, ain't no capping, we in the air. Elevated up like an elevator, no steps. I don't run in place. I just run up, elevate. Elevate. Get up and get it in, don't you waste a day. Yeah, elevate. Get up and get it in. 7 777, try your luck, Ay,
I just made a play, I hit up, saying it's done.
on the strip, we flew in private with all my day ones. All I know is elevate.
Elevated, elevated, I'm on upper levels. I wake up, I'm seeing millions. Look me up, you seeing serve. Everybody claim a boss, but they tax really tell it. I've been grateful from the start. Every day I'm getting better.
Catch me if you can, ain't no capping, we in the earth. Elevated up like an elevator, no set. I don't run in place. I just run up, elevate.
Get it in, air it out. Flying in, we don't know we flying out.
All I know is that we really up now.
Every day look like a movie. Catch me if you can, ain't no capping, we in the earth. Elevated up like an elevator, no set. I don't run in place. I just run up, elevate. Elevate, elevate, elevate. Get up and get it in. Don't you waste a day. Yeah, elevate, elevate, elevate. Get up and get it in. Yeah, catch me if you can, ain't no capping, we in the earth. Elevated up like an elevator, no set. I don't run in place. I just run up, elevate. Elevate, elevate, elevate. Get up and get it in. Don't you waste a day. Yeah, elevate.